This week, we're here to answer even more questions about the COVID vaccines. Let's get on with it. How do I know I'm getting a legitimate vaccine?
Unfortunately, because some people are terrible, there are some vaccine scams to watch out for. Here are some tips to avoid them. One sign of a scam is if you're offered the vaccine early for a fee, or if you're asked to pay up front for your vaccine. The vaccine itself is free to everyone in the US. Some healthcare facilities might bill your insurance or Medicare a nominal fee for administering it, but they aren't allowed to bill you if you're uninsured, and you can't be turned away if you can't afford to pay. Another sign of a scam is if you're asked to take other tests, like an antibody or COVID-19 test, before you can get the vaccine. There's no reason you need to do this. If someone is telling you the vaccine will be shipped to you and you have to pay for it, it is 100% a scam. You won't be receiving vaccines through the mail. Beware of scammers emailing or calling you to try to collect your personal information. It's best to schedule your vaccination appointment through your local health department or pharmacy. If you've gotten a call or email and you're not sure if it's real, contact your local health department to find out.
Okay, so when will we reach herd immunity?
Scientists estimate that between 70 to 85% of people will need to be immune to SARS-CoV-2 in order to achieve herd immunity. However, in practice, there are several factors that will need to be considered, from vaccine distribution to new variants of the virus, before we reach herd immunity. Herd immunity will not be a single moment after which the virus will no longer exist. Cases will diminish over a period of time.
If minority populations are being hit so hard by COVID, why aren't they a priority population for vaccine access?
This is a great question, and unfortunately, it doesn't have a satisfying answer. The vaccine rollout has shined a light on a lot of inequities, especially systemic inequities that require long-term, large-scale solutions. No single solution for vaccinating our whole society equitably would be perfect, but there have clearly been missed opportunities to address existing disparities created by discrimination, such as the high rates of comorbidities among communities of color and people with disabilities. Here in Massachusetts, although the state has made some efforts to address racial equity in vaccine access, Black and Hispanic residents still have to travel further than white residents to get vaccinated, and vaccination rates in these communities are lower than they are among white residents. States and cities need to deal with these disparities by putting in the work to meet residents where they are, taking concerns and questions about vaccination seriously, asking people what their communities need and listening to the answers, and dedicating time and resources to building public health capacity where it's most needed.
What if I never get my second dose? Am I still protected?
The first dose does offer some protection, but we don't have a great idea of how much weaker your immunity might be if you only get one shot, or whether it'll last as long as it would have if you'd gotten both.
Will my first and second dose be from the same type of vaccine?
We don't know if mixing and matching doses from two different vaccines will be as effective at creating immunity as receiving matching doses. The CDC has said that every effort should be made to get people a matching pair, but in extreme cases, exceptions might be made. At your first vaccination appointment, your healthcare provider will give you instructions and information about the vaccine you're getting.
What side effects might I have from getting vaccinated?
Some people who receive the vaccine might have mild to moderate flu-like symptoms and soreness at the injection site. This is nothing to worry about. It's just a sign your body is mounting an immune response, and it will pass in a few days.
Okay, so I'm eligible to get the vaccine, but I feel like there are some people who need it more than me. Should I give up my place in line?
At the end of the day, everyone who can get vaccinated ought to get vaccinated, for their own safety and that of others. If you are eligible, don't hold off on getting vaccinated just because you're concerned that other people haven't had their turn yet. It's the job of policymakers to get vaccines to the people who need them, and it's your job to protect yourself and those around you by following local guidance and getting vaccinated when it's your turn.
How long after I get vaccinated will it take for me to build immunity?
A couple weeks after you get your second shot, you will have strong immunity. Once that immunity develops, it will be very unlikely that you will catch a severe case of COVID or die from it.
How long will I be immune after I get vaccinated? Will I need booster shots?
We don't yet know how long the immunity from the vaccines will last. At minimum, it'll protect you for several months. People in the original trials who received shots last year are still being monitored, so if and when their immunity starts to fade and boosters are required, we'll know about it several months to a year before you need to do anything about it.
Can I stop masking and social distancing after I get vaccinated?
Please keep taking precautions for now, even after you get vaccinated. A, we don't know for sure that vaccination stops transmission. B, there is still a small chance you could get sick even after being vaccinated. And C, you don't know who else around has been vaccinated or not, and going out without taking precautions encourages the potential for community spread. Let local transmission rates in your area guide your activities. When there's less transmission overall, it'll be safe to scale back more on some of these precautions.
We really hope that by answering these questions, we've put to rest any concerns that you might have about the vaccines. If you still have questions, we encourage you to talk to a healthcare professional. But the bottom line is that vaccines are safe, they work, and if people get them, they will save lives.